Well, it's difficult to believe that it's 3 years since that night when Mist was born and we started out on the whole Mist project. Seeing her work now makes me realise just what a weight of expectation we placed on that young pup. Of course, Mist had great working parents, both her mum and dad were great sheepdogs, but there was always a chance that our leading lady just wouldn't be able to fulfil the role. The rest of the cast were less of a worry. All of them were proven sheepdogs long before we started filming. And the characters we gave them in the film were really just extensions of their real-life personas. Greg was always undisputed top dog in the pack. Swift has always been a bit prim and proper, even if there is a slightly tough edge to her character. And Ernie, well, anyone who's met Ernie will recognise him as a surly youth.
All right?
Yeah, he's a good guy. Of course, any great plot needs a villain of the piece. Poor old Fern. She was always going to be the natural choice for that role.
I heard that.
Fern's a great sheepdog, but there is a slightly difficult side to her nature. Ask her to lie down, she'll stand up. Ask her to come over here, and she'll go and hide. And ask her to meet a new litter of pups, and she looks like she wants to eat them. But is Fern really frightened of heights? Well, I think rescuing a ram from up here, any self-respecting sheepdog can be forgiven for that. Good girl, Fern.
Wakey, wakey! It's bedtime!
And then there's Jake. If you want a joker in the pack, then Jake's an absolute godsend. At work, he goes into concentration mode and he's a great sheepdog. But take him away from work and it's not long before he does something silly. When we made Mist, we shot over 100 hours of footage. And I guess inevitably we were never going to have time to use it all, or all the scenes we wanted to. One of my favourites that we had to leave out was Jake playing with his newfound puppy friends. And it wasn't long before Jake did something silly.
Wow! It's really high up here. This is what it must be like to have legs as long as Jake's.
Oh, Mist! I don't like it. I want to get down.
Oh, you're such a scaredy cat, Drift.
Looks like you've got a head for heights, Miss.
Look over there. Look who's coming.
Look out, you lot! I'm coming to play!
Quick, come on. Let's get down and have some fun.
Yeah, come on, let's go, let's go.
Hey, wait. I can't get down on my own.
Quick, 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 quick! Look what I found!
Uncle Jake, Uncle Jake.
All right, little un.
Hey,
Uncle Jake, this stick's brilliant.
Oh, it's really big, isn't it?
Oh, it's a good one, I'll grant you. All right, little un.
Oh, God, stuck in my throat.
Oh, are you all right there, my lover?
Oh, it's okay. It's out now.
But hang on. Where's your sister? Here, where's Mist?
I'm up here. I'm stuck.
No, don't worry, Mist. I'm coming to get you. Uncle Jake to the rescue!
Oh, thanks, Uncle Jake. I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Never mind let you down. How are we gonna get you down?
Well, the others kind of walked sideways-y, backwardsy.
You mean this way?
Whoop.
That's got it.
Many of the best moments in the film were instances that happened quite by chance. Mist was only 4 months old when a newborn lamb wandered into the yard, and she didn't know what to do with it, whether to play with it or chase it. In the event, she opted for somewhere in between, which was much to the amusement of Auntie Fern.
Back in the yard, Mist had some company of her own.
Oh, hello. Who's this? That's a very small sheep. Is that what they've been so worried about? Oh, right, let's see what we can do. Hello. My name is Mist, and I want you to, go to the middle of this yard.
Oh, what have we here? Oh, this could be fun.
I said, go to the middle of the yard. No, not that way. Back this way. No, wait.
Such finesse, such control. Get back, back.
Whoa. Look here, I'm the dog, you're just a very small sheep.
And you're a very small sheepdog. Get back, back.
Okay, I'm going.
Priceless, just priceless.
Look, please, would you just go into the middle of the yard? I won't hurt you, I promise. It's like a game.
I wasn't born yesterday, you know.
Actually, I think you were born yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Middle of the yard, is it?
Let's get a little closer to the action.
Here we go. You see, I go round like this. It's quite fun, isn't it?
Mum said all dogs were nasty.
Oh no, we're only doing our jobs. Sir Gregory's certainly not nasty. He's kind. And so's Gail. She's my mum. And then there's Uncle Jake. He's brilliant.
Sir
He's
Gregory,
really long
just
legs
take a
and
look at
he
that
barks,
daft little
trains and
puppy.
eats
She
mud.
has no idea at all.
And then there's Auntie Swift. She's very serious, but always
Oh, come on,
so
Fern.
kind, so
Even you
nice.
can
Such
see
a
she's
good
full of
sheepdog.
potential.
Oh, honestly, Sir Gregory, there's no way she will ever be a proper sheepdog like the rest of... Sir Gregory? Sir Gregory?
And who's the one over there with the pointy ears talking to herself?
Oh, that's Auntie Fern. Actually, she is a bit nasty.
I heard that. And stop calling me Auntie!
Uh-oh. Let's get out of here.
The dogs took to their newfound acting roles in very different ways. Fern just seemed to do the opposite to everything I asked her to. Mist was great, and Jake, Ernie and Gail seemed to just get on with it. Swift, however, was in her element. She seemed to have a natural understanding of what a camera was for, and just as importantly, how to position herself bang slap in front of it, posing perfectly to show off her better side. But like all great actresses, she does have her limits. And on one occasion, she stayed underneath an umbrella and refused to come out because it was rainy and might mess up her hairdo. You silly old dog. Good girl. Greg was the dog that most amazed me when it came to filming. He was my constant companion for 10 years, but he was already an old dog by the time Miss was born. They say you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but that certainly wasn't true of Greg, although I hardly had to teach him anything. He just seemed to have an uncanny idea of what he was being asked to do. Here in the kennel yard, I asked him to climb up these stairs one evening, and he did it about 5 times whilst I fiddled about with the camera. And on the 6th occasion, when I finally got it right, all I had to say to him was, "One more time, Greg." And he trotted across the yard and up the stairs. Losing him during the filming of Miss was hard to bear. For me, Greg really was a dog of a lifetime. When you work with a team of dogs day in, day out, you get to know their own personalities as well as their behavioural patterns. When they're not at work, they all have their own places to lie, things they like doing. Miss was only 4 months old when the sheep first came into the barn for the winter. And she found it so strange to be sharing the barn with a flock of sheep that she just couldn't help but let her curiosity get the better with her. Come on, you. There's a good girl. Good girl.
Oh, what's up here? We go. Oh, my life. Just look at them all. All those sheep.
Miss!
Oh, crumbs. I bet I'm not supposed to be in here. Ah! Oh!
Mist's heart raced. Here she was, alone with a pen full of sheep, and all she wanted to do was round them up. But as her excitement took over, Mist realized she had no idea how to round up sheep. So she barked. And barked. And barked. But nothing happened. So she barked some more. And Miss began to think that a sheep that simply refused to move was far scarier than anything Auntie Fern could concoct.
What's it saying? You know I don't speak, dog. Let's just get her out of here.
Oh, hang on. Oh,
Mist caught her breath, happy to have escaped the stampede. But she was unaware that she was being watched by Sir Gregory.
Oh dear, I think there's a lot for this one to learn.
But just then, as if she could read his thoughts, Mist lowered her head, put her tail down, and for a fleeting moment looked like a real sheepdog.
That's more like it. Well, almost. Come on, Mist. Enough fun for today.
Oh, Sir Gregory, how long have you been there?
Long enough to know that we've got some studying to do. Come on. I think it's high time we started your training.
We tried to reflect Mist's true character when we made the film, and she certainly has been something of a free spirit. There were times, I guess, when she was about a year old when I really began to wonder whether I'd be able to harness all her natural enthusiasm. But slowly, she began to want to work with me rather than despite me. And by the time she was 18 months old, I could see that she was going to make it. But I guess even I've been surprised just how well she has turned out. And now, it's a real joy for me to watch her working with the rest of the team. They say never work with children and animals, but I reckon that Gail, Swift, Vern, Ernie and the rest of them have been great fun as well as pretty easy to work with over the past few years.